All right. Okay, let's get this party started. So recently, the question came up on how to use, well, okay, first of all, user had a question. They're using the GeoJSON layer in the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, but they wanted to use a request interceptor to filter that GeoJSON data, right? It used to work at one point and it no longer works, which is correct. The way they were doing it does not work today. And I'm going to talk about why. So let's see, I should probably get a link up here. If you're not familiar with request interceptors in the API, let me, oh my gosh, messing everything up here. Okay, so let's make this a little bigger. Request interceptors are part of the Esri config. So come over here. There's property in Esri config for request. And in requests, you can have these interceptors. Basically, you can capture the data before or after it is, before it's fetched or after it's fetched, right? You get the data result and you can do stuff with it. Comes in handy every now and then to do certain things. Maybe you want to, you don't really need it to add the tokens anymore. We've got custom parameters on layers, but there might be a reason you want to do it. I don't know. Not sure what you want to do, but you do what you gotta do. Okay, so let's talk about here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and have a interceptor in here, and we'll go ahead and define at the top. Let me format this so it's all nice and pretty. Okay. So we're going to say that config dot request dot interceptors, come on, dot push, and we're going to push our first interceptor. Well, we only need the one. I don't need more than one in here. And basically, I'm interested in the data after it comes back, right? Yeah, that should work. Okay, so I get the data after it comes back. Let me just go ahead. I have a little if statement over here. Yes, I'm doing a little copy pasting because I don't want to write all this stuff over again. All right, so if the response has no earthquakes inside of it, then I want to do something with it. Instead of having to get the whole URL, you can do this. I think in the samples we talk about adding like URLs and stuff to there, which is probably smart. I should probably add the URL part in here. Under URLs here, but I'll just go ahead and do it this way. No big deal. Actually, it makes me feel a little dirty. It's okay. I'll play with it right now. I can't. This makes me feel bad. I think if I just do this. URLs. Like so. And after console.log. Response URL, just to give me an idea what I'm doing here. That work? I think it works. Yeah, okay. So that's it. I don't need this if statement. I was doing it, but don't need it. Okay, so here's the deal, right? How do you get the data, right? So on the URL, okay, let's do it over here. So on the response object, come over here. Let's see, request interceptors. They're gonna tell me what the response object looks like. After, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so after interceptor callback, come over here, follow down the rabbit hole here, right? So we get a request response. Okay, so the request response is going to have a data attribute to it. The data attribute can be any one of these things, right? There's other stuff in here, the URL, the options that were sent, you have the function to get the header, all this good stuff. But let's just go and look at the data then. So, okay, come on, let this come through. The array buffer. This isn't JSON anymore. That's because at some point in the API, back in 4.15, I want to say, somewhere around there, GeoJSON layer and I believe CSV layer were updated to request data as array buffers, right? So you don't get the actual raw JSON of a GeoJSON. It's not GeoJSON. We're doing array buffers to get it in here. And I think it's always been like that. I want to say that this should have just worked like this before, but someone was telling me that it worked prior. So I'm gonna say, okay, maybe it did. We just changed some stuff. But okay, working with array buffers. So if I got my GeoJSON data and I want to filter or modify it in some way before it gets consumed in my layer, how do I do that, right? So here's where things get fun, right? So what you need to do is use a text decoder, right? You're dealing with the array buffer here, do some stuff. Can I stop this from running? I don't know if I can. Code pen, I don't know if I can make it stop and then have a start thing go. But it's okay. We're going to deal with it. So do a const, and I get a string. And it's going to be a, I can do it like this. So new text. I don't think I need to do it like this, but decoder. There we go. I can spell. Dot decode. And we're going to pass the response data. Okay. So now I've just got a string. So console.log. Of course, come on. Console.log, that string. And there we go. So here's my JSON now. So here's the JSON result from that array buffers. That means I can go ahead and I can parse it as JSON now. So I can go ahead and take this string, and I can go ahead and say that my const GeoJSON is going to be equal to what do you call it? JSON.parse, and that's string. Okay, so you take me at my word. That's just going to be an object, a GeoJSON object. I can log it here, but you know, don't worry about it. I'll log it. No one's people are going to be like, do you show it? Man? Okay, I guess whatever. Okay, so it comes to an array buffer. We've decoded it, so now we have a JSON object that we can use. Now I can do something, right? So maybe what I want to do is I want to say that I just want the first, I don't know, 500 GeoJSON.features is equal to GeoJSON.features.splice 1. That's how let's do 1000. I'm not sure how big this data set is. All right, so I stripped it down to just 1000 features now. So now I need to pass it back, right? So all this work I'm doing here is no good unless I get it back into the response pipeline. So it gets to the GeoJSON layer and something happens, right? So now what I need to do is I need to say that const data is equal to new. Again, I like to. You don't have to do this, but you know it makes me feel better. So we use a text decoder. So now we use a text encoder, right? Text encoder, and we want to encode this, stringify it. Remember, because we got a string before. Stringify. Am I spelling string? God, I can never know if I spell stringify right. It's okay. I'm going to assume I am. Okay, so there's my data. Now I should be able to say, so okay, so I got the data, but there's a buffer on the data. So if I log this, let's clear this again. So if I log the data, there's actually a buffer, an array buffer on the data. The data is not the array buffer. The array buffer has a, see, so it's a unit array, so it should have a buffer on it. Yeah, I can get to. So okay, so now we're going to say this. Now we're going to say that the response dot data is equal to data dot buffer. Cross your fingers, people. Yeah, look at that, 1000. So, okay, what happens if I don't do this? Just so you don't think I'm lying, right? Let's filter that. Let's take it off. So now I'm not modifying it. There's all my features. You can see I've got stuff all the way over here. All right, so it's pretty big. Juicy data set. Do my splicing, dicing. Right, and we've trimmed it down. Trim it down even further. Now, of course, I'm just splicing the data. You can do any kind of filter you want. Filter out by location. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what GeoJSON data has in it. Maybe it's got like country codes or locations of some sort you can filter out by. Maybe you just want to filter out stuff by magnitude or something like that. I don't know. But you can do it. You can modify that data before it gets back there. So Yeah, I just want to show this came up actually. One of our PEs asked me this, Undrel, because someone had this question and saying that used to work and stuff, and I don't know, I've never done it before with GeoJSON like that. But yeah, if you want to parse out the array buffer you get back in response to that data, you can. Now, before you start asking me if you can do this with vector tiles and stuff like that, no. It's a little different in that case because you need to actually parse the PBF data. So you have to, yeah, you have to get the PBF data, parse it. There's no need for you to mess with vector tiles. Just put it that way. You should never have to use an after interceptor for vector tiles. Don't do it before anybody asks me. So yeah, that was it. Just a quick YouTube live today to cover this because question came up and I figured it might be useful for other people that might run across something like this. If you use an interceptor and you're getting like an array buffer for some reason, you don't know what to do with that array buffer. Like, oh, what do I do now? You can do it. You shouldn't really need to modify data too much. GeoJSON is a special case, right? Because it's just a file that we're bringing into the API. We're not able to send queries or anything like that to the file, right? So this is kind of a different story. CSV, I believe, would be pretty similar, although I don't know, and I don't want to try and edit CSV in YouTube Live because I'm just going to jack it up, right? Like, probably regex involved, and don't make me regex. I don't like regex in my regular hours. Come on. But yeah, so if you have to deal with array buffers just like that, that's what you can do. So have fun, enjoy it. Remember, great power comes great responsibility. Don't jack it up, all right? So if you like this video, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about in a future video, just go ahead and let me know. Thanks a lot. See you later.